Is it Super Tuesday or Super Wednesday? Because I feel like this college basketball card is high-key better today than it was yesterday. So you guys know what that means. Bankroll builders are on the way and a few best bets. And I'm changing it up a little bit today. I actually have a team total for you as well. We're going to get into 3 winners today on this Wednesday, the February 12th card. Let's get into it. This is the free 3.
I love it, Noble. Noble, I also love your YouTube videos. I watched them while I was gone. That was fire.
But getting paid because yesterday we had a full sweep. Mike going under, that was just icing on the cake. Why are we going to go in such a weak AFC South? Unless we have the NBA Blowout Association.
Bang! Knicks take a 1-point lead with 13.
When you hear the sirens, you know what that means.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
What is up, everyone? It is your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm bringing down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we try to get to the bag together and make that money. As you can see, I'm still on the road here, but I will be returning home sooner rather than later. But it's okay because we're still going to record our videos. We're still going to be able to make money and cash in on our plays. And yesterday, it wasn't our best day here on the channel, but overall, we still were able to cash in on another bankroll builder. And in today's video, I'm going to do a quick recap on how we did yesterday. And then we'll dive in today's picks, which I do have another bankroll builder on the way for you guys. And if you're new to the channel, I do appreciate you guys tapping in. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so this way you can stay up to date on all the latest picks and plays that we're dropping here on the free 3. All right, so let's get into this real quick. For some reason, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why the Action Network is not pulling up like my picks from yesterday. Officially, I added a few plays later. So it says that we went 3-2. Let me pull up real quickly on my phone and check. Okay, we officially went 3-2, but of the plays that I put out on the channel, we went 1-2, which kind of is annoying. So let's break down yesterday real quickly. Our bankroll builder of the day, the 3-way parlay, Oregon, Iowa State, Texas A&M. We get all that right. Plus 102, all those cash. Our 2-way parlay with Auburn and Arizona. Now, we took really Arizona on the money line, but like I said, I didn't want to lay all that juice. So we took Auburn in there as well, and then that lost because Arizona lost. Then I also added 2 additional plays. Actually, we also had UAB minus 1.5, and that lost as well. So those are the 3 plays that we took on the channels, and those lost. But the 2 added plays that we took, Kentucky on the money line, that cashed in. And then also Cincinnati and Illinois out on 2-way parlay at minus 107, that cashed in as well. So it was a slightly profitable day here, plus 109. I'll see if we can get a screenshot here for you guys to see officially how we did yesterday. So it wasn't too shabby, but again, it's always disappointing when the plays miss on the channel, but later on we do well. So make sure you guys are following us on Action Network at Noble Living and on Twitter as well for any added plays. All right, let's get into these winners real quickly. I do have to go, so let's kind of dive into these bets real fast here on the channel. Loaded college basketball slate that we have a lot of games, and not even all the lines are out just yet, so it's actually pretty surprising. So let's see what we can cook up real quick and on this February the 12th card. For my first best bet of the day, let's go with a quick little 2-team steam, or 3-team steam I should say, to get us started. Our bankroll builder of the day. All right, our first best bet that we're gonna go money line parlay. We're gonna go Bradley on the money line. You guys know I love Bradley. That's one of our auto plays that we play. We're gonna go Temple on the money line, and then we are gonna go UNCG on the money line. UNC, that is UNC Greensboro, not Asheville, UNC Greensboro. Parlay those 3 together, you'll get to plus 106 odds. So we're going to lock that in for 1 unit. Let's talk about these games real fast. Bradley, first and foremost, as you guys can see here on my screen, they are 96 on KenPom, 19-6 on the year, and they are taking Southern Illinois at home today. The reason why I like Bradley to get the win is because of this recent streak that they went through. I was on Bradley a few times in this losing streak, and I'm not going to be upset about it because, like I told you, when you're betting the mid-major schools, you have to know the top programs are going to lose 1, maybe 2, even 3 games, and you have to be okay with it because you're going to cash in way more times than you lose as long as you're doing like the money line parlays, you're being consistent. Now, if you're trying to do spreads and different stuff like that, then that's where things get wacky because they can win the game, but they might not cover. Bradley has lost 3 of their last 4 games. You can see right here on Wednesday, the January 29th, they lost to Illinois Chicago at home. Then they lost to Northern Iowa on the road. Then they come back home and they lose to Belmont before they travel on the road to Evansville and they pick up the win. Why do I like Bradley here? Because the fact that they lost these 3 of the 4 games. If we go take a look at the Missouri Valley Conference right now standings, Drake is 12-2, Northern Iowa is 11-4, Bradley is 10-4, and Belmont is 9-5. So they're not out of it. Bradley is, in terms of trying to get a number 1 seed inside the conference, or at least maybe getting a number 2 seed. And the reason why I really like Bradley in this spot here today, because if they had lost to Evansville, I'd be a little bit worried. But they do have a look-ahead spot against Drake here. As you can see, on Sunday, they're going to play Drake on the road. But Drake today, guess who they play? Illinois State on the road. So this is a good chance that Drake might look ahead towards Bradley and overlook Illinois State on the road and could possibly lose this game. KenPom has this as a 3-point win for Bradley, and if you look at the spread of this particular game, even though we're not really betting it, I do see a lot of people on Illinois State, and Drake is only a -2.5 point favorite, despite the fact that they are 12-2 in conference and have won like 10 straight conference games. So for me, when you look at the scheduling spot, Bradley has a look-ahead spot against Drake in a way, but because Bradley is going to be on the road, it's not as much of a look-ahead spot as much as it is for Drake at home while they're on the road right now. I hope that makes sense for my people who are handicappers, especially with the college basketball slate. So if we go back to this Bradley game real quickly, they lost 3 of their last 4. They understand that they're going to be struggling, but guess what? They got Drake, Illinois State, Northern Iowa. So they literally have a chance to get the number 1 seed if if Drake drops another game for the remainder of the season. But I like them to grab the win today because they understand if they lose this game, they're basically going from a 2 or 3 seed all the way down to maybe a 5 or 6 seed, because keep in mind, Belmont's right there behind them at 9-5. So I just need Bradley to handle business at home. Keep in mind the number 3 in 3-point percentage in all the country, number 53 in 2-point percentage, number 6 in effective field goal percentage. This is one of the best offensive in all college basketball. They got to hit their shots. If they don't, they're going to lose, but I expect them to hit their shots today. So give me Bradley on the money line. Now, Temple is one of those teams that I want us to take a look at real fast. Before I take a look at them, give me 1 second here. Let me just put this on Do Not Disturb. Before I talk about Temple real fast, I want to talk about UNCG real fast. And UNCG, if we go look at the SoCon standings, you can see Sanford's number 1 at 9-3. Chattanooga is number 2 at 9-3. And then UNCG is also tied for first at 9-3. ETSU is right behind them at 8-4. So this is the time in the season, guys, where I'm taking a lot of bets based on what we see situationally in the standings. Which team is going to rise up and which teams are going to fall and crumble underneath the pressure. So for me, the fact that all 3 of these teams are 9-3, 9-3, 9-3, that means that first place is really up for grabs. Well, guess what? Sanford and Chattanooga play each other today. I'll get back to that in a second. So UNCG really has a chance to win this game and now move up to a clear tied for first standpoint with either Sanford or Chattanooga, depending on how their game goes today. So I don't expect them to drop the ball against a very weak VMI team that you can see they only won by 3 on the road back on January the 25th, but VMI is ranked 280th on KenPom. KenPom has this as a 10-point win for them, for UNCG, and I'm not overthinking it just because of where we are in the standings. Now, our last leg that we're adding to this parlay is Temple. And the reason why I want to wait and talk about the Temple Owls is because I'm taking 2 bets with Temple today. The first one is that I'm taking them on the money line, and this is a straight system play that I've been taking consistently here on the channel. Hopefully you guys have been tapping in, and that is Temple at home. Yes, they've had overtime games, double overtime games, but they have yet to lose a home game this season. Home win against East Carolina, home win against Charlotte, home win against Tulane, home win against Memphis, home win against Wichita State, home win against Davidson, home win against Drexel. They have not lost a game at home. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Temple at home today against a Tulsa squad that's garbage. They're 9-15 on the year, 3-8 in conference play, including losing 4 straight and including 6 of their last 7. I don't want to bet on them. I'm taking Temple to win. So that is the 3-team steam. But what is the other bet that I'm going to take with Temple here? We're going to go with their team total over 77.5. You can see KenPom has this as an 80-68 win for Temple. So they expect them to score 80 points going over this total. But if we go to our Doink Sports real quickly, You guys know I like doing sports. They kind of put our eyes on certain trends. One of the trends that they pointed out for us today, real fast. Oh, what's going on? Okay. All right, I'll just go back to this. So one of the trends that they pointed out was the fact that Temple has consistently gone over this total of 77.5 recently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games they've gone over this number. 82 points against Memphis, 91 points against USF, 98 against East Carolina, 90 against Charlotte. So they're flying over the number. They're averaging 82.7 points per game over the last 10 games. So they've gone over this number in 8 of the last 10 games. And the only time they missed was against a University of Texas team that plays very slow, and we lost that. They got 67, and then we got Rice where they only scored 73. Meanwhile, if we take a look at Tulsa on the other side, over the last 10 games, they're giving up about 75 points per game, so we're going to need Temple to pick it up a little bit, but I like the fact that they've just scored 82, 91, 98, and then also given the fact that Tulsa has gone over this number, or opponents I should say, in 3 of the last 5 games. They give up 79 points to FAU, 83 points to Memphis, 78 points to UAB. You can see this all here on the screen. If we look at Temple at home, they've been just as strong. They go, instead of averaging 82.7 points per game over the last 10 games, it goes up to close to 87 points per game at home. So that gives me even more confidence to take them here. So I'm not overthinking it. Temple at home, the trend says to take the team total over. We're locking that in as our second best bet of the day. So let me just plug that in real quick. Temple team total over 77.5 to win 1 unit. So we've got 2 best bets locked in. Our third and final pick of the day is going to be another bankroll builder for you guys. And this is going to be really, if you want to take this one team on the money line, on the spread, I do think they're going to win and cover. But it hurts me to say it. I got to fade my alma mater today. And we're going to go with Sanford at home against Chattanooga. But I want to take them on the money line. I don't want to lay the -4.5. I don't want to lay the -5.5. So what I'm going to do is what I did yesterday with Arizona, even though it burned us. It didn't really hurt because Auburn still ended up winning, but the one money line bet, and that's why we do the money line parlay. It's cheaper this way rather than us paying for the expensive 140, 150 and then losing, right? So we're going to take Sanford here on the money line. You can see this is -210, right? Then we're going to throw in VCU, a team that we've taken several times this season. Those two together get you to -120. That's a standard bet. You can leave it at that. I just threw in New Mexico late night against Wyoming, and that gets us to like -106. Can't be too bad at it. We're locking that in to win 1 unit. So Sanford is the play, though, that we're building around here. Now, Sanford is at home today. They're taking on my alma mater, like I said, Chattanooga. And the reason why I like Sanford is because I mentioned 3 teams are tied at the top of the SoCon. Chattanooga is the surprising team that people weren't really expecting to be there. Sanford for sure, and then also UNCG for sure. So now they get to take on Chattanooga, and I like the fact that they already beat Chattanooga on the road, and that they won that game by 4 points. So you might say, revenge spot, Noble. Chattanooga should be able to bounce back. But Sanford is at home. And Sanford has one of the tougher home court advantages in not only the SoCon, but also of all mid-majors there in Birmingham, Alabama. Ken Palm has us as a 5-point win for Sanford. And I also like the fact that they just lost to ETSU on the road. Why? Because it was probably a look-ahead spot. You beat Citadel, you beat Mercer, then you travel on the road to ETSU, and you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to grab this win. We're going to be good. And then, before you know it, you lose that game, get slapped in the face, and now you're a 3-way tie for first place in the SoCon, and now you get to go back home to face Chattanooga. That's the analysis here. Now, if you want me to get into all the numbers, Sanford is 79 in offensive efficiency, 23rd in effective field goal percentage, 15th in three-point percentage. They can shoot the ball. They like to play fast. They have a high-tempo offense. They can get you a few different ways. If you look at their significant contributors, it's literally split between 5 guys. Trey Fort, Jaden Brownwell, Rylan Jones, Colin Holloway. Those are like their main guys. So I love the fact that it's not bred on 1 or 2 people. So Sanford spreads it out. They beat Chattanooga already earlier, and then given the fact that they just lost their last game, this is more of a get-right spot for them at home. Chattanooga, They've been surprisingly good this year, but this number on defense is where my concern comes in. 223 in defensive efficiency, 211th in effective field goal percentage, 263 in turnover percentage, 288 in terms of guarding the three-point line. They don't guard the three-point line well. They don't force a lot of turnovers. They don't really stop anybody. And then when you look at it, you're facing literally a top 100, top 50 offense. It's one of the top offenses in all the SoCon. That's tough, man. I can't really back that. I'm going with Sanford. I just want to take the money line, even though I do think they're going to cover the spread. Now, to talk about the last few teams real quick, VCU, they're taking on George Washington, and this is another game for VCU where we have a very competitive A-10 conference. Obviously, Dayton is not what we expected them to be, but George Mason has been the big surprise this year at 11-1 in conference. VCU is 9-2. You can see they're right behind them. So VCU has to win every game that they can win before they face them literally in a week from now. So what we need to do, grab the win against George Washington, grab the win against UMass before you have a showdown with George Mason for possibly kind of like the #1 seed inside of the A-10 conference. This is a VCU team. You can see they're 9-2 in conference. Don't overthink it. George Washington, they're good, but every time they step up in class, George Mason, UMass, they lost to George Mason again here, Richmond, they've fallen short. So I like VCU here, strong defense to go with against a very weak offense. I'm taking VCU. Now, finally, New Mexico is the last team, and this is just really taking a team that's at home. New Mexico is very hard to beat inside the pit, which is right there in New Mexico. You can see they're 12-1 in conference. Their only loss came in an upset way to San Jose State, and that was like on a last-second shot that they really never should have lost this game. But otherwise, they would have been running the conference. They take on Wyoming today. Wyoming's not very good. Don't overthink it. Just take New Mexico to get you better odds value on the parlay. All right? So that is what we're locking in, my friends, for this Wednesday card here real fast on the free three. Three best bets that we've got on the way for you guys. Let me zoom in real quickly for you if you're watching on the YouTube. We've got Temple, team total over 77.5. Three-way parlay with Bradley, Temple, and UNCG at +106. And then we're really taking Sanford on the money line, but we threw in VCU and New Mexico to give us a little bit of better odds value. If you want to throw in Duke and other huge favorites to get to +100, be my guest. That's the way to go. All right, that's what we're going with here on the free three. For more additional plays I'll add throughout the day, click the link in the description, join the Action Network group here at Noble Living, and then also follow us on all socials, and we got you guys taken care of. All right, my friends, I appreciate y'all for tapping into the Tesla versions of the free three. We've been here the last few days on the road charging and still putting out winners. So hopefully we can have a good winning day here on the channel. And then you guys know the vibes. If you comment below anything, if you just comment anything, then if we sweep the board, I'll Venmo somebody some money. All right, my friends, let's have a day, get to that cheddar, and as always, dictate your fate. It's your boy Noble Living. I'm out.